Have you ever heard the story of Pinocchio? Everyone remembers the wooden puppet who longed to be a real boy, the nose that grew longer with every lie, and the lessons about honesty and courage. But what if the story had unfolded differently? What if his lies didn't make his nose grow at all? What if every lie he told had became the truth? Imagine a world bent and broken by the careless words of a child, a place where shadows turned into reality and truth lost its meaning. Today, we will step into that world and follow the journey of a boy whose lies could reshape everything. Geppetto carved late into the night. He wasn't shaping a nose or hands so much as a hollow where a child's laughter might live. Outside, sea salt and warm bread scented the alley. When the blue star flared, he whispered, "If wood can listen, become my son." The dark seemed to nod. On the workbench, the puppet blinked. Wooden cheeks caught starlight. Somewhere the old man's heart thrummed like a string being tuned. The blue fairy arrived as a seam of light. Pinocchio, she named the boy who had just learned to breathe. The world is made of words. Speak truth. The world holds still. Tell a lie. The world bends to your mouth. Geppetto panicked. Will his nose grow? She shook her head. No. What lengthens is the shadow of that lie. Beware, or you'll turn a shadow into night. Pinocchio blinked. Joints clicked softly. He didn't understand weight yet, only the thrill of being called by a name. On the first morning, the shop door jammed. Geppetto sighed. The lock is ancient. Pinocchio grinned. This lock isn't locked. He joked. Then, click! The bolt sprang. They stared, stunned. Don't speak carelessly, Geppetto warned, eyes shining anyway. In the street, Pinocchio kept testing. It won't rain. Clouds tore like paper. The cat is not hungry. It stopped stalking birds and sprawled like a plump otter. Each thin lie tugged the whole day forward like silk thread. The teacher asked for homework. Pinocchio had forgotten. Snickers. He blushed. I did it. At once, a neat notebook appeared in his bag. The class gasped. The teacher froze. But the ink remembered nothing of last night. It merely impersonated memory. At home, Geppetto listened, proud and worried. Son, imitation can look like truth but refuses responsibility. Pinocchio nodded, then smirked in secret. The convenience of lying is a new pillow, too soft not to lean on. Stromboli clapped when he saw Pinocchio perform. The boy will sell out! After opening night, they locked him in a cage for trying to go home. Pinocchio sniffled. This cage isn't real. Metal dissolved into air. Bars became mirage. He slipped through like smoke. He ran under dark awnings, buoyant. Power made his feet downy light. At a corner, a beggar extended a tin. Pinocchio murmured, "You're not poor." By morning, the man was gone, along with anyone's memory of him. Rumors raced. The mayor summoned them. "We need stability," he winked. "Try no taxes to cheer the crowd?" Geppetto stiffened. "No," Pinocchio faltered, then whispered, "Tomorrow has no taxes." Streets erupted, but the granaries thinned. Tax clerks vanished with ledgers. Toll bridges, suddenly free, had no keepers and dropped a span. The mayor blamed accidents. Pinocchio avoided mirrors. He began to grasp. Each lie is a hammer, striking the nail of law. The wood groans. Candlewick coaxed. Pleasure Island. No one turns into a donkey there. Pinocchio tossed off. Right. No one becomes a donkey. The lie drifted across the docks like carnival sugar. That night, children wrecked the fair, faces sticky. By morning, not a child sprouted ears. They roared with glee. But in the stables, carters and laborers grew ears and tails. The mute, the widowed, the poor. Helpless brays split the air. Pinocchio heaved. The burden shrugged off, the children fell on the weakest. The blue fairy appeared in a lamplight corner. "You've learned to translate suffering," she said, "but not to lessen it." Pinocchio cried, "I meant well." "Switching off the lamp isn't light," she answered. "Your lies become true, but soulless. They live by stealing force from someone else." She handed him a blue thread. "Tie this to your words and see whom they drag." He pocketed it with trembling fingers, heart heavy as wet stone. Hearing Geppetto had gone to sea to search for him, Pinocchio ran to the shore. The sky churned. "The sea has no storm," he said. Waves fell asleep. Wind died. Boats sat like stones. Next day, fish wouldn't bite. Fishermen baked under sun, stomachs clawing. Pinocchio saw the blue thread stretched to the water, tied to sailors' wrists. "Give back the wind!" they cried. But he stammered before the choice. Wind returns and storms rise. Wind dies, and hunger rises. Truth wasn't a light switch. News cracked the town. Geppetto had been swallowed by Monstro, a fish the size of a church. Pinocchio borrowed a skiff, rowed into the dark maw. In the belly, father and son held each other, sobbing, laughing. "How do we get out?" Geppetto trembled. Pinocchio pressed the slick wall. "This is not a fish. This is a wooden door." The gut became pine planks. Flesh turned to fragrant grain. A door opened onto the beach. They stepped out as Monstro dwindled into mist. Yet on the horizon, part of the sea became forest. The lie had carved a new maze. News of the law-fixing boy turned Pinocchio into a wish engine. People queued. "My house is not sick." Debts don't exist. Bad memories never happened. Each lie wove a new patch of reality, streets overlapping streets. Half the town remembered rain, the other half never had rain. Maps split like eggshells. Geppetto sat on the stoop, face in hands. "Son," he whispered, "you're turning truth into a museum." Pinocchio, for the first time, felt fear of what he'd made. The king's envoy arrived. "The realm needs order. Say no war, no famine. Peace will reign." Geppetto pleaded, "Spare my boy." Pinocchio was taken to court before the throne. He said, "There are no soldiers at the border." The army sifted into sand, men vanished, and children in villages lost fathers in memory. "No famine," he added. Storehouses filled, but taste turned to ash. Fields stopped growing from false fullness. Peace held like a painted scene. The fairy did not come. Pinocchio tried something. "I'm only a puppet." Nothing changed. "I am wrong." Nothing. Truth fell like a rusty nail. No one stooped to pick it up. "So," he whispered, "truth is mute while lies sing." Geppetto held him. "Truth doesn't sing because it works." On the bench, he set the blue thread. Each time he spoke, it flew like a grappling hook and caught someone. Pinocchio realized he'd been dragging the world to its feet for applause that felt hollow. In a nook of the wooden maze by the sea, Pinocchio met an old net weaver. "Who are you?" "The one who mends what you rip." She showed him a net of blue spliced knots. "Each knot is a burden someone carries for you." "How to stop?" he asked. She tapped his chest. "Gather all consequences into one place that volunteers to carry them. Then your lies won't be cheap." He began to see. Point the arrow back to himself, the single place he truly owned. On the square steps, Pinocchio faced citizens, courtiers, even the king in silence. He spoke truth. "I have done harm." No wind stirred. Then he lied. "From now on, Every lie I tell lands only on me. The sky stalled. The blue thread snapped tight and cinched around him. Instantly, his nose grew like a mast. His back weighted like millstone. No debt etched across his skin. Brays at the stables faded as people became people again. The world exhaled, and he shouldered it. Pinocchio came home, dragging his steps like a boat. Geppetto shaved his nose so it wouldn't snag. Do you regret it? No, but I'm afraid. Good, said Geppetto. Fear teaches us to go slow. They ate dry toast. Ash fell softly. At the door, Candlewick peered in. Buddy, my mother's sick. Please say she's not sick. Pinocchio eyed the blue thread. If he spoke, the weight would crush him further. He knelt. I'll work, no lie. They fetched medicine, begged the doctor, kept watch by her bed. A new rumor spread. The boy's lies are useless now. Fewer knocks at the door. The mayor sulked, the king grumbled, but at the market people paid true prices. Pinocchio hauled his burden around, mending bridges, stitching nets, speaking nothing. Oddly, his long nose snagged less when he used it as a lever for water barrels. The carved words hurt less when he carried bricks beside masons. Hear it? Geppetto asked. Pinocchio cocked his ear. In the fall of sweat, a tune, wood singing when put to right work. The blue fairy returned, this time without Blaze. You've changed the ethos of lying, she said. Still a craft, but a different aim. Does truth still matter? He asked. When lies once made everything? Truth's value is that it needs no applause, she said. It keeps banks for the river to run. She touched his brow. Someday, if you can say one truth you're willing to live entirely by, you'll be a real boy. Not for me, for you. Before dawn, Pinocchio sat beside sleeping Geppetto. He whispered, I love you, not to be forgiven, not to become real. I love you even if I remain wood-bowed under my own lies. Wind slipped through the door and brushed the carved words on his skin. They faded like chalk in drizzle. His wooden nose shrank a little, not gone, just enough to stop hurting. Geppetto woke and ruffled his hair. I heard. No bells, no fireworks, only first light and the smell of bread. Years later, children asked, if lies have power, does truth still matter? He smiled. Lies make worlds easily. People adore that. Truth keeps the world, which is hard. Few applaud. Living is standing in the right place between them. Speak less, do more, and let love decide the cost you'll bear. When the children had gone, he stood before the shop and listened to the grain hum. Somewhere, the blue fairy smiled too. Night needs no fireworks, only someone to keep the ember.